I'm Hilary, a mom in Oklahoma, and I am ready for a break.
And I'm Hannah, a stay-at-home mom in Texas, and I have been verbally abused by my 2-year-old all day.
This is the Don't You Two Read podcast, and hi, we're so glad that you're here. So today we're going to be just talking a little bit about what's going on, like life, reading, books, and then a little bit about our next monster read. So we'll get into that in a second. But Hannah, how are you? I guess your kid is being bad.
I don't like to use the word terrible twos, but I people use it for a reason. So that's all.
Yeah. It's been the cave, your cave.
Yeah. How has your life and reading been?
We're making it. We have a wedding. Our sister is getting married, and so we have that approaching. So that's exciting, but it's a lot of chaos. So I'm ready. This break for us, I feel like is well timed.
Yeah.
So it'll be good. It'll be good for everybody. And I think it'll be good for us, like the podcast, to come back strong and fresh. I mean, we're not, I act like we're taking like a year break. We're taking like a few weeks off, but I think it'll be good for us. And like just even us doing this like a little bit different format has been good for my reading, I think, because it has allowed me to read whatever. Like if I want to keep reading in a series, I
Mm-hmm.
just keep on doing it. Or not that I couldn't do that before, but it's just a little bit more wiggle room.
I was just telling Josh about this. We don't want to bring book 2 or 3.
Or just one, two, and three.
Yeah,
You're like, well, those are my three books. One, two, and three.
and we didn't want to bring arcs like 5 months ahead.
Yeah.
So it did impact some things for sure. And then just the prep time of it. So it has been nice. It's been nice to not have that also.
But I will say I have also missed like there's a lot of books I've read that I'm like, I haven't talked about them anywhere.
Yeah, yeah,
So so it's like it's good and bad. But the good thing is I have like a lot of books stockpiled, like ready to
yeah,
go. So, I mean, obviously we'll do that eventually, but
yeah.
yeah. So, but it's been good. I finished a book, a 5-star finally. I've had a lot of like threes, and I finally had a 5, so that's been good. And
Oh, me too.
I'm excited though for summer or my trip. I have these grand ambitions that I'm going to read a lot on my vacation. And I'm like, it's probably not going to happen at all. But I always like overdo it.
Yeah, I I want to say it depends what type of vacation for me because if I'm vacationing like home, like my vacations when I lived with, I'm trying to think, I don't even know how to word what I'm saying. Like my vacations visiting home now that I don't live with family, when I'm visiting family, I do feel like I still read a lot because there's a lot of downtime. Like I'm not at Disney World exploring,
Hmm.
but like on vacations like that where I'm in a totally new environment and we have like an itinerary and all of this and kids and like it's just me and Josh, then I feel like yeah, I'm not gonna read probably
I
at all.
feel like we need to do an episode on this probably after our vacation of like vacation reading, like what we planned and then how it turned out and what that looked
Yeah.
like because
Yeah, we should like our
you have a
vacation
road trip.
TBR.
Yeah, we should do like a what we're taking and then after we'll be
Yeah.
like, all right, we're back. This is what it looked like. I already know it. Mine will be like I didn't read.
Yeah,
But
we should do that. That'll be fun.
But you're going on a long drive with
Yeah.
two kids, little kids,
Hmm.
and I'm going on a very, very long car drive.
Yeah, I keep thinking you're flying.
No,
But I
very
bet you'll
long.
read a lot though in the
I don't
car.
know because Taylor is like that type of person, which is
Oh no.
surprising.
To talk?
But yes, he's like,
No.
you should hang out with me, or I want you to listen to the words of this song. And I'm like,
Okay,
okay.
but do you feel obligated? Because when Josh is driving, like Josh is the primary driver on trips and in general. Like he likes to drive. When I drive, he gets car sick. So
Oh,
or
well.
just well, like when he's in the passenger seat, but he says that he doesn't like how I drive, which is fine. He drives, so that's fine. But I feel obligated. It depends if it's early, like, pre-sun or post-sun and it's dark, I do feel like the obligation of like keeping the driver awake. And so then I'm like, well, I have all this time that I'm sitting here, like he's not really talking, or like he'll have something on a podcast or something, but I'm just like, do you need me to be awake? Like, do you need me to talk? Like,
I
be
think
available? I don't know.
mom made us like that, I think.
100%, which I was gonna
Well,
say
I
that.
shouldn't say, I don't know if it was mom or dad, but they were always like,
The
if you're gonna sit in the
dynamic
front seat, you're gonna help.
with the
Like,
map,
yeah,
with the
the
yeah,
90s children, yes. Like, that was the rule. If you sat in the front seat, you're gonna help. It's
yeah.
like Mushu. If you're gonna stay, you're gonna work. Yeah, that was us on road trips. So, yes, I do feel like I carry that
Yeah,
over because I'm
me
like, here,
too.
let me help you. Let me get your taco
Let me get your
ready.
snack. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm like, there's no passenger
And
princess.
whenever I'm driving, Taylor's like asleep. And I'm like, hey, get up. Where's my help? You're supposed to be helping me with my food or you're supposed to
Yeah.
tell me where I'm going, whatever.
Yeah, that is funny. So we'll see. We'll see if I actually read in the car. We'll see if I read on the trip. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have, well, we need to do it soon because you are going on your trip soon,
Yeah.
like a week. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So shifting gears, we read, let me write right here. Devolution. Is it devolution?
On the audiobook, so I was hearing it as devolution, but the
Yeah, because it's
audiobook,
evolution.
right? But the audiobook said devolution.
Yeah, see, no wonder I'm confused.
The audiobook was like presented devolution, presented by whatever. And I was like, that's how we're saying it this whole time because I did not.
Let's see. Let's see.
That one said devolution.
Google says devolution.
Well, we have a conflict here. I mean, who cares? Nobody.
I mean, I don't think the word is used much in the book.
No, I literally heard it at like the very end, the acknowledgments of the audiobook. So,
Okay, so it's by Max Brooks, and it's not that long. I'm going to read the synopsis just very briefly. As the ash and chaos from Mount Rainier's eruption swirled and finally settled, the story of the Green Loop massacre has passed unnoticed and unexamined until now. The journals of resident Kate Holland, recovered from the town's bloody wreckage, capture a tale too harrowing and too earth shattering in its implications to be forgotten. In these pages, Max Brooks brings Kate's extraordinary account to light for the first time, faithfully reproducing her words alongside his own extensive investigations into the massacre and the legendary beast behind it. Kate's is a tale of unexpected strength and resilience, of humanity's defiance in the face of a terrible predator's gaze, and inevitably of savagery and death. Yet it is far more than that, because if what Kate Holland saw in those days is real, then we must accept the impossible. We must accept that the creature known as Bigfoot walks among us and that it is a beast of terrible strength and ferocity. Part survival narrative, part bloody horror tale, part scientific journey into the boundaries between truth and fiction. This is a Bigfoot story as only Max Brooks could chronicle it, and like none you've ever read before. I'll be honest, I don't like that description very much.
no.
It just seems terrible.
This is the same author who wrote World War Z,
I
which
saw that. I have not read that.
I have not read it, but
I've
I've
seen the movie.
same. And I just didn't make that connection till just now. Okay, so let's start first. Did you read this book like a paper or did you do audio or both?
I did both. I have the book right here. So I got it
Mm.
from the library, and then I did both. So like when I was driving, I would do audio, and then usually at home I did paper.
So I did audio for most of it. Like I would say all of it. I read, so there was some overlap where I would be following my ebook once that finally came in. I would listen while I was reading, but most of it I only had the audio format. So I actually liked the performance of the audio, which is rare, but it was did you listen to enough to enjoy the
Yeah,
audio?
yeah. I thought it was fine. I didn't, honestly, I don't know if something has switched in my brain with audio. Probably not. I'm very selective of what I listen to.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I normally hate them.
yeah, I do too. But I I enjoyed it for the most part. The reason I don't like books as much on audio is because if I'm not totally paying attention to the words that are being spoken, I get lost. And
Mm-hmm.
so it basically has to be like a mindless task. So like me driving to work is pretty mindless because I go the same way for the most part every single time. I'm not really thinking about much. So I can truly focus on all the words. But like when I'm working at work, most of the time I can't listen enough. Like I will start thinking about like if I start thinking about work, like these names and this stuff, then I'm like, okay, I missed something. Something happened that I missed. And usually like with podcasts, I feel like it's okay, not a big deal. But with a book, man, you could be totally lost of what just happened.
I I 100% agree, and I did feel like as good as the audiobook was, in my opinion, like the performance, it was like a full cast, and I enjoyed it, like the inflections and like the narration, I enjoyed it. However, I was telling Josh that same thing that for me, when I'm doing audio, I am much more likely to miss something because of either
Hmm.
what I'm doing, I'm distracted, or like my brain apparently I just have that skill where I can be thinking something while listening to something else. And sometimes it's just they're not on the same track. And so with this book, I did think like at the towards the end, like once it was the ending, I was like, hold on, like
Uh-huh. I had to
what just
rewind
happened?
it a little bit. Um, like yes, like you said at the very end. Okay, so what happened was is she started naming these things. And I think that's what got me confused. And it was confusing in the audio.
What is the
Um
plural of Sasquatch?
well, she kept naming one like queen or
She
what
had
was it? I don't remember. Like
twins, alpha.
yes, it was like alpha and what is it when consort
Yes,
and
that one was
but it's
confusing.
confusing whenever it's on audio because on print you could see like you know what I mean like the capital letters it's
Yes.
more clearer of what we're talking about but in audio I'm like huh it
Yeah.
was like alpha goes here and I'm like I don't know
Yeah.
it took me a while and I'm like I don't know what's going on oh okay junior whatever is there a
Yes,
junior
yes, there
yeah
was.
and I'm like junior who's junior so I don't anyway I I didn't like that part. I think, yeah, and I would keep going back to Jurassic Park. I don't know. I don't know that anyone will get it as right as he did.
Mm, yeah,
I
no.
just don't know. Like, okay, here's my thoughts. Again, I'm always comparing and contrasting. Jurassic Park, I would say also had a slower build up because do you remember that? It was like
Mm,
25% until we even got to the park.
right.
But and I mean, I wouldn't say it was boring, but it was slower paced. But then once we got to the park, it wasn't, it wasn't violent, but it was like this beautiful world. So that's where I think Jurassic Park excelled. And the contrast is like the world building in Jurassic Park was, I mean, like I felt like I was on this island. Like it was muggy and hot. And I don't know, like very descriptive of what we're dealing with. He talked about the plants and the wildlife and the all this stuff, the setting. This book, I don't feel like I got that as much personally, and which is disappointing to me because it's set in Washington, which is one of my favorite places in the world. I've been there several times, and I feel like it like the way she described it, I felt like it could have been in my backyard of Oklahoma. Like it's just the trees. And I'm like, no, no, no. Like even I know there's a huge difference between like the woods that I drive by every day and the forests of Washington. But I don't know that I got that vibe. I don't know. I had a hard time with the setting, like knowing what we were talking about.
So let's start with what was happening because I'm confused about like, okay, here's what I know. We have journals of
Yeah, her
the
Kate's.
of Kate, and Kate is like explaining the situation. So like they live in this neighborhood
They
because
moved to this like
isolated,
eco-friendly.
yes, because they want to be away from like society.
It felt like commune.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I was gonna ask that because it felt
No
like,
cult because there's no like religious
but it
aspect to
felt
it.
weird. That lady,
Yes.
I don't remember her name. She had a weird name. I'm sorry.
Was it Yvonne? It was Yvonne, wasn't
No, it
it?
was not. It was like Moon.
Oh,
What's her name?
Monstar.
Monstar. And I, I've never heard it, but it's fine. I just had never
Right? Is
heard
it
it.
Monstar?
Yeah, I think so
That
because
sounds too on the nose.
M- Moon,
Mostar. Mostar. Mostar.
Mostar.
It's
Um,
Mostar.
so
Mostar.
she was interesting. But anyway, so they're the whole point is that they're in this like isolated little community, and then there's a volcano that happens, and then it like what? Like
There's
wipes out
like a mudslide. The mudslide
wipes out
basically
their
traps them.
roads.
Yes.
Yes, and so then they have no way to get food. So
And
then
no
they're like,
electricity.
yeah, so then they're like, okay, we gotta hunker down. What food do you have? What food do you have? And we gotta hunt and cut like, oh, the
One thing
animals when they're hunting. I did
One thing that
not
was
like.
interesting was how quickly Mostar, I'm like mustard,
She
whatever
was
she was,
she was
how
so
quickly,
suspicious to me.
yes, like immediately, like powers out, and she's like, better start planting a garden in the garage. And I'm like,
She
what?
knew.
But like, that was weird to
It
me.
was weird, and the whole time I was thinking she's part Sasquatch too, because of her
Oh my God.
reaction. Well, her reaction was like so weird, and then they were like, she let out a guttural noise, and I'm like, what is with this
The whole time you
lady?
thought she was like a half
Yes.
breed. Oh
Yeah,
my
I
God.
thought, well, after Relic, I was like, anything is possible. She's the alpha in disguise. I
She's like this
so
old lady.
okay, but here's my question. So we go through all of this where like just oh man, attack of the Yeti.
Well,
And
basically, it took a long time to get to that
it did
long.
take a long time,
Like the entire book.
but we did get them. And I was happy though. I was happy at least that we did have monsters. I was like, "Oh, yes, okay, we got monsters." And then we had a bunch of them. So like I at least there was that. And then there's the scene this oh stressed me out. They're throwing all the rocks and the Bigfoot family are throwing all these rocks or something. What was it? And then that man starts banging back to like communicate. And he's like, yeah, yeah, I communicated with them. And I was like, bro, why? And he's a goner. Did not end well for him. Um, that stressed me out. But anyway, okay, so we go through all this. Who was reading her journals? Because wasn't this like a myth or like it wasn't, it was hidden and covered up, right?
It's Max Brooks,
The author.
I guess. Like it's a weird
So
because
it's
it says
supposed to
there,
feel real.
yes, yes. Because like on that description and even the
Oh.
beginning, you're like, it's Max. Like he's saying, I'm Max.
I did not make that
Well, he didn't say
connection.
I'm Max, but the description said Max. Yeah, the description says Max Brooks, and yeah, that's who wrote it.
What?
So it's supposed to be like, I'm Hillary, I'm writing about this, the California wildfires, and then it's
That's
all
so
fake.
weird.
But yes, it did throw me for a loop because I was like,
Okay.
well, did this earthquake actually happen? Like, and then
Well,
obviously I don't believe the Sasquatch stuff did, but so he did a good job with that too, because I was like,
you're
did
like,
this
what's
really happen?
fake?
Yeah. Yes,
Well,
a
because there was
mix.
no evidence. Like the journal is the evidence, right?
Yeah,
Because
that's it. Well, the frozen meat.
what happened to the main lady, Kate?
They don't know. She's missing. So that's why at the end they're like, well, we have theories, like her and the girl, which I made a note about that.
Mostar?
No, Palomino.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
Pal. At the end, they switched her name to Pal.
Yeah. I was confused about Pal. I'm like, I thought it was a dog at first.
Me
And then I
too,
was,
from Arthur.
yeah. I was like, Palomino. And then, yeah, Pal. Okay, patted Pal on the head. And then Pal didn't talk, right? Like, at all.
No, no, like a pet.
Okay, so they went disappeared, and the rest, what, died?
Or the monsters.
The people, did all the rest of the
No, yeah, they're
community.
all gone. Everyone died except those two.
And then the
And they don't know.
lady,
I mean, they assume they died. They assume they're dead, but
what did you think of the lady on her, what is it, on her bike in the garage? Do you know who I'm talking about?
no, Yvonne, the same
Yeah.
lady, Yvette, Yvette.
Yes, she was on her. They're like, I just know the audio. They'd say, they're like, "Where's Yvette? Where's Yvette?" And zip, 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 zip. That she was always in her garage on her.
Okay,
Um,
I didn't when I listened to it, I didn't hear that. Like I don't know. I
oh
maybe I
my.
read that part.
Well, they kept saying it, and they were like, "She's in there, not on a treadmill. It was on like the stair stepper type thing." And that they said that they went in there to check on her, and she looked like a skeleton. Oh, and then there's so many points that I was like, what am I listening to?
Yeah, it was a weird little book. So, okay, I'm all over the place. They move into this place. It was weird. Like, and you can tell these people have a weird marriage. Weird.
Yes.
She hates him. And then I kind of got the vibes that she liked Tony, who was like the builder, the founder. I don't
Yes.
know. Real weird.
It was weird.
But then that never turned out to be anything. I don't know. And really weird. And then instantly, yes, there's a slide, mudslide, and Dan, right? He's like suddenly useful and he's smart. And then they're butchering a rabbit,
That
and that
was
was
horrible.
disgusting. Yeah, I was like, find the most disgusting way to talk about this.
And Mostar was weird and gross about it.
Yes, like creepy.
Yeah, very creepy, like tear it up. And I don't know, just gross. Bad
Yeah.
vibes.
I mean, that's basically they were gonna starve to death.
The whole thing though is that like this community is doing different things. Like they're like, okay, we're gonna communicate with them. So they try to a guy tries to communicate with them, and that did not go well because I think that was when they started throwing all the rocks.
Was that the heavy set man?
I don't even know. That's
Because they
funny
were
that.
like, he needs the least amount of food.
Oh my.
That's what they said. They're like, he's
Okay,
the biggest. He has fat to burn on his body.
terrible. Okay, so my notes, the only notes I have for the whole book, literally the only notes I have at chapter 2, I legit have no clue what's going on. And then later I have at the end, I finished when they kill Consort and stab his dead body. And Kate's like, I stood on his head and pulled my pants down and peed on his corpse. And I said, me,
Yes.
huh? I was so disturbed. I was like, what are you doing?
Okay, you know why she did that though, right?
To like
Is
show her
because they pooped in
dominance.
her house. Yes. But when was she writing this down? I guess she survived for a while then. Yeah, she peed
It
and
was
was
like I
like,
I
there,
stood on
showed
his
you.
head and I pulled down my pants. Okay, I was embroidering. I was literally embroidering listening to this. And when I'm like listening to that, it's like I pulled down my pants and I was like, "What are you doing?" Like, you have my full attention, Kate. Like, what is going on? It was a ride.
I have my note. I only have a couple notes. One was the name child abuse, naming your kid Palomino. And then I said, why are all monsters smelling like rotten eggs? That's like the same description, everything. I've seen that
Ev-
every time. This one,
mhm.
relic, they said
Mhm.
something about like rotten meat or something. And
They
then dress,
copied.
Jurassic Park was also like that too.
But I said I loved it in Jurassic Park, and I felt like it made sense in Jurassic Park. And in my brain, I'm
Because the
like,
sulfur or what?
I think because they're eating meat.
Yeah.
Like the animals at the zoo stink because of their poop, probably because I don't know, it's stinky.
I mean, they're not brushing their teeth,
No.
so.
And yeah, like smell a cat's mouth. Disgusting. So I'm sure a dinosaur smells much worse. Um, but I guess I don't know. But yeah, every single thing. And I'm like, did they copy Michael Crichton? Because why now does everything smell bad? But I
Hmm.
felt like it was more organic in Jurassic Park, where because I said I loved it. This one felt like copy paste. Like I'm smelling this
Hmm.
rank meat or I don't know. And then it was like the same thing. Like it didn't feel quite the same of like the ambiance and like the mood of like the characters as they are smelling the dinosaurs.
I think, I'll be honest, this was a weird book. Very weird book. I'm trying to think of like what would I have preferred because I mean, I'll be honest, I don't think I'm recommending this book to people. So again, just file it under we read it for you guys. But like I'm like, what did I want to happen? Because like what did I want them to kill all the Sasquatch people? I don't know. Or did I want this like them to kill the people? I don't know. But it's funny because I was telling Taylor about this. I'm like, well, I'm reading a book about Sasquatch, Bigfoot, right? The same thing? I don't
Yeah.
know. And he's like, well, do these people deserve to die? And I was telling him about this was very intro, like first chapter or two. And he was like, yep, sounds like they all deserve to die. I'm like, well, yeah. So they wrote it like they were pretty unlikable
Yeah,
people for the most part.
for
Like they're
sure.
all extremely flawed. Even like I'm trying to think, like, and I guess that's the point because something I thought was interesting too is I said I don't read these, but I did pay attention to this book. In the back, like where he has blurbs, one blurb was, I mean, I just noticed I didn't know any of these people, but one person was, where is it? Right here. Tom Ridge, a former governor of Pennsylvania and first Secretary of U.S. Department of Homeland Security. He said, I wish we could elevate the national dialogue on public safety to a level of tone and focus that Max Brooks has demonstrated for us all. And I'm like, I'm confused. Like, do you think this needs to be a manual for our government or like a discussion, like a government book club? I don't know. So that I was a little confused. So because I'm like, what, that's my question. What is the point then? Like, so what was the whole moral
Yes.
of the story? So, because my and I guess it's different for everyone, but my takeaway was these little isolation things are a mistake.
Yeah.
Like we in my instantly what came to my mind was Chaz, which happened in Seattle as
Oh,
well, which is
yeah.
funny. I believe that let me see when this book was written. Oh, this book was written in 2020. So Chaz maybe happened a year later. So maybe it was like fortuitous or you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
foreshadowing. That's what I was trying to say. Um but like Chaz in Seattle was, if you guys don't remember, that little like how people got into like in downtown Seattle and they created their own little community where they're like, no, we don't want the government. This is our little space where no police officers can come in here.
Mm.
No, nothing. This is our community for us. We don't want your rules. We're going to have our own world. And then what happens? They end up killing each other,
Mhm.
like literally murdering each other. And then they're like, we need police. Why aren't you helping us? And the police are like, no, you told us don't come in. We're going to kill you. We're not going in there. So then eventually they're like, okay, never mind. They
Yeah.
disbanded
They're
and
like,
said, we need the rules.
sounds good, doesn't work.
Yeah, this like utopian society of we don't want the rules. We hate government. I mean, no one loves government, but there is a sense of order, that
Yeah.
like they were saying, like there is a benefit of paying taxes or whatever. It's like you get roads that get cleared and you get food and you get, I don't
Yeah.
know. But then I'm like, maybe that wasn't his whole message.
Well,
Maybe his message is something else.
Google says that the themes of this book are, well, there's several, but it says one of them is just like how humans respond and react in
Yeah, crisis.
crisis, like adversity in nature, like when things go wrong, and that
Hmm.
it emphasizes the fragility of civilization, which I do think that is true. What, like how it was like
Hmm.
you had the
Like
vol
dystopian really
you had the
fast.
volcano. Yes. And I mean, anytime that something like that happens, like when we had the hurricane here in Texas and wiped out, I mean, it was not even a bad hurricane and didn't have power. Like some people didn't have power for like 3 weeks. And I mean, and then you do enter the struggle of like, there's no power lines, so people couldn't contact anybody. And then running out of water because you don't have enough. And then, well, the stores, they only have so much. So, that. And then there's no gas because everybody freaked out and got all the gas. So you can't go anywhere. So, like, you do enter like chaos very, very quickly. And
Hmm.
society does, like you said, like breaks down. So it's a little scary. This book definitely showed that. Like I was like, you got to start a garden and it better work. And I'm like, oh, or you got to,
And they're like, hey, you're overweight, so you don't get to eat.
yeah, yeah, oof, rough, rough, guys. Um, but I don't know. I don't know why I did enjoy the overall experience maybe. Like it was very mid, like meh, it was okay. Um but I was left wanting more. Like I was like feeling how you did. I was like, well, what is the point of this? Like it never felt like felt like it wow. It never felt like it came full circle for me where I'm
Yeah,
like,
it
what was
didn't
the point?
finish.
Yeah,
It was like this open-ended thing.
no
And I
closure.
guess what I think Jurassic Park, what it did better was it had Malcolm, which I think did serve to carry that idea of like life finds a way. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
life will find a way no matter what you do, like nature's order will take place and whatever. I think it was very clear of like, hey, we're messing with science. Like even today, we're able to see like experiments. We're like, oh my God, that's what Michael Crichton was talking about, applying that to, human DNA or animals, bringing back the woolly mammoth or whatever, whatever. This one, I'm like, it wasn't. Yes, like you said, found lacking. It wasn't long. It was like 280 pages. I feel like he could have added more meat to it somewhere. Our um I don't know. It was like a 3 star for me.
Yeah, me too. I would say yeah, 3.5. It was
I wouldn't discourage someone from reading it if they're like, no, I just want a monster book. I'm like, sure.
like Hillary said, it is slow to start. It takes a while. Like once I hit the monsters, I was like, okay, then it started rolling for me. Um, so if you're bored and you have not hit the monsters, then I mean, you just have to keep going.
Well, I feel like we've done it all. We never talked about Into the Drowning Deep, but I read that a long time ago, so I wouldn't know enough to talk about it.
Oh, I was gonna say we could because I literally just read it.
I don't. Yeah, you'd have to just say your thoughts and I could just chime in. But
I loved that one.
one, Jurassic Park for sure.
Yeah, I
Into
know
the Drowning
every
Deep.
monster book we have to like always reiterate. It's like Jurassic Park was the one to read.
This one was
Everything else.
okay though. I wouldn't say this was a terrible book. I'm not saying it
No.
was a terrible book at all. It was fine. And
No,
I
it was
definitely
good.
see there was an audience for it, for sure.
Yeah. It was much better to me than Relic. Relic,
Relic
I was
was, man, it was a struggle. I'm trying to think of any other monster books I have on my radar. I don't know. There one came up for whale something. Was it Whale Fall? I don't know. That one keeps coming up for me.
no, I read that. I read that book. I swear. It's where the man gets swallowed by a whale. And I have so many bad things to say about that book.
Okay, well, I won't be reading that book.
That's all.
Oh my
Triggered.
God. Yeah. I'm like, wow, such a reaction.
So bad. I literally just like went down a deep dive of that book again the last like week. I don't know why, but I was reading my review from it in the last week and I was like, "Oh, when I hear Martha."
That's funny. Well, I might cross that off the list. Okay, okay, really quickly. You can find me at Hilary Reads on Instagram,
And I'm at Hannah Reads.
and you can find our podcast at Don't You Two Read Podcast on Instagram. Go follow us, go like our stuff, tell us what book you want us to do next. And yeah, okay. Housekeeping, we are taking the next I'm like 3 weeks, 2 weeks off, a couple weeks. We'll post it on Instagram. That's why you follow us. We will be taking the next couple weeks off because we will be traveling, but we are not going anywhere. We are going to kick off our summer book club stuff. And so we are going to be reading books and talking about them just like we did today. So yeah, I think that's it. Have a good couple weeks, guys.
Yeah. And I'll be resharing old posts too. So you can
Yeah.
listen to old stuff if you haven't listened to it
Yeah,
yet.
we have like 50 episodes to listen to.
Yeah. That's all.
All right, bye.
Bye.